Submit your own content on info@millenniumnews24.com. Download the Millennium News 24 app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Stay tuned with Millennium TV and Millennium News 24 for the latest updates.
All right, we are back. We are back. The curse of the University of Michigan loss that we took yesterday to USC is over. We are here. I got my relays though, because the Lions still have to play, so I still have my relays. But thank you so much for joining us today, everybody. It's a lot going on in this past 24 hours. A lot has gone on, but we are going to keep it pushing. I am still your host, Shirley Phillips III. This is still the comment section, and this is still Millennium News 24, where you can follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Apple TV, Apple app. What else we got? Roku TV. Everybody's app. We can be found on. Extremely excited today because I love Black people. Y'all know I root for everybody Black. Y'all know that. But y'all know my number one passion is children, and of late, it's been my boys. Y'all know I'm here for my girls. I do go girls. I run all types of mentorship programs for my young ladies. But of late, my boys have been heavy on my mind, which is why I invited the guests that we have today on to give us some help. We need a triage situation. We have Mr. Allan Jackson, TEDx speaker, Good Morning America, Disney, author extraordinaire for urban youth. And I'm just excited that I was able to get him with such short notice because he is a busy man. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Looking forward to you giving us some help here.
The sir title is completely not necessary. Neither is the extended name. Just Ty is more than
Just
sufficient.
Ty.
My sister. Yeah, oh brother. You know what I'm saying? You could do brother, you could do whatever. I could do sister. Let's keep it a buck here.
Let's keep it a buck. I got you. Because I find that man makes me feel auntie-ish. So I feel you.
Yeah. That's what's up.
It's giving uncle. Okay. So tell the people that don't know, tell us a little bit about who you are exactly and what you do, because I know I didn't give you any justice.
You know what? First and foremost, before I'm anything, I'm a father of three children. I hold that title most proudly. Three of the most amazing human beings I've ever known. They're 22,
Aw.
25, and 28.
Oh,
So, and I'm more than proud to be their dad. My second title is that of a children's book author, literacy advocate, and motivational speaker. I have the privilege of traveling around the country talking to children about the power and the importance of reading. It is not my passion, it is my purpose, it is why I'm here.
that's
Mark
right.
Twain once said the two most important days of your life are the day you were born and the day you find out why. And the day that I became an author, I knew why I was here. And
That's
so I
right.
get the privilege to travel around the country and talk to children about the power of reading.
I love that. And then I'm going to add on to that. I do remember that quote, and I remember about that dash in between, like what you do,
Sure, that's
that
right.
dash. I love that. I
Yeah,
love that. I
yeah.
love that. How long have you been doing this exactly?
It's been 15 years since I've been a children's book author and literacy advocate. I definitely started out like many, not knowing what I was doing. In fact, my path of becoming an author was serendipitous, in which it started when my son was 8. He asked if he could open up a lemonade stand. He made $50 selling lemonade. He didn't know what to do with his $50. So I went to my local bookstore to try to find a book to teach him about what to do with his $50. I couldn't find one, so I wrote one. And the path of that was even complicated because I was rejected by 100. My manuscript was rejected by 147 agents and publishers. So I learned how to do it myself. And that particular book to date, I've sold over 250,000 copies of.
Amen. That's awesome. That is awesome. I did see that you were talking about resiliency and not giving up because someone rejects you. That's a lot of times to be rejected.
Yeah.
And did they give you a reason why or any
Some did,
advice?
some, but just it didn't align with it. So as you can imagine, a lot of these publishing companies didn't look like we look, and so here is a young Black protagonist promoting financial literacy. It's probably not, the most, in alignment character that a lot of these publishing companies would deal with. Now, of course, they wouldn't say that.
They're
So,
not,
some of
yeah.
them gave me, cockamamie excuses from, well, it doesn't fit our mission, to we have similar works, to, but most were just not interested. They and a lot of their
Mm,
replies were no replies at all.
wow. Why? And you made it happen.
Yeah,
And
when you believe in something, you don't let anyone deter you, not even 147 strangers, and I tout that as well. Like I wasn't going to let 147 strangers dictate my success.
especially when, like you said, you feel like that's your purpose and
That's
there was
right.
nothing else like it. You know what I mean? And I don't know how spiritual or how religious you are, but I personally feel like what's meant for you is for you. And obviously,
Sure.
these places were not for you. So
Yeah.
that did not come through. What I saw some New York Yankees type situations on your page. Are you a New Yorker, a native New
Oh,
Yorker?
born and raised, Bronx, New York, baby. Go Yankees. Well, not go anymore because they're out of the playoffs. But no, from 0 to 35, I was Bronx born and raised.
Wow, Bronx born and raised. I'm having like a little bit of an identity crisis. I'm from Detroit. I'm a Detroit girl all day.
Okay.
But I did a 20-year bid in the Bronx. I've been
Okay.
teaching, but I feel like it's been like a prison situation. I'm glad I got out.
Huh.
But it was probably some of the most fun I've ever had. I
Yeah.
met some of the most interesting people in New York, have become some of my best friends. And I do know that if you can make it in New York, you can make it
Without
anywhere.
question. That is not without question.
That is
That
facts.
that is not a saying, that is a way of life. If you can
That's
make
a
it
way.
there, you can make it anywhere.
You can make it anywhere. So that being said, when you write, do you use some of your own life? I mean, aside from your son's situation with the financial literacy, do you use some of your own experiences or some of the own issues that you had as a young boy to funnel some of your themes?
Yeah, I think any writer will tell you that a lot of their creativity is derived from past experiences, and they could be real life experience or the spirit.
Oh, wait a
A
minute. I
lot
think
of
we're having,
my
there we
work
go.
is oh, but honestly, a lot of my work is derived from other works. For example, my character, Danny Dollar, is really a spin-off of Michael J. Fox's Alex P. Keaton
Alex P.
character from
Keaton.
Family Ties. Like all I did was jack Family Ties, Alex P. Keaton's character of
I
this
love
young
it.
finance, and jack him into my character Danny Dollar. My character, the super duper kid, Jovan Williams, is derived from Raj from What's Happening.
Well, what's
Uh,
happening?
yeah, Raj and the relationship him and my character and his sister have is derived from the relationship Raj and Dee had from What's Happening. So
Love
and then of
that.
course you sprinkle a lot of life experiences and things you learn and messages you're trying to push. But yeah, a lot of my characters really just came from other characters.
From other characters. I
Yeah.
love that because just because I'm black, that doesn't mean I'm not a Republican per se. I don't know what I am right now. I'm definitely not Republican, but just because I'm black doesn't mean that I can't have some of the same core values as Alex P. Keaton because he's one of
Oh,
my
for sure.
favorite
It's a
characters from
great
the
character.
80s.
Phenomenal character.
Hilarious. He
Yeah,
was
absolutely.
phenomenal.
Yeah,
God bless Michael J.
100%.
Fox.
Yeah,
And
God bless Michael J.
RIP.
Fox. Yeah.
I love him. He's going through a lot right now. I believe he has oh gosh, don't quote me. It's a horrible disease. I want to say
It's,
muscular dystrophy, but I could
it's
be wrong.
Parkinson's.
Parkinson's disease. Thank you.
Yeah.
But he's hanging in there. He's still trying to
Yeah.
do motivational speaking.
Yeah.
And RIP to Roger's little sister. She just passed away a
Right.
couple
That's
weeks
right.
back.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Um, do you think though, just because we're like I said, just because we're black doesn't mean we can't be whatever we want to be. We can't write about whatever we want to write about. But do you think that in 2025 there are topics that should be specifically focusing on girls versus boys as your core audience,
I
and
mean,
vice versa?
um, I don't know. I feel like it's a yes or no answer. While my main characters are primarily boys, and so boys can relate to them, I always make sure to have strong female characters in alignment with them,
Okay.
with these male characters. I That's a very good question. I I know this. I don't I write from my heart and I write for me. I'm not
Hmm.
necessarily writing for boys or girls or children as general. I'm writing for me, and putting that art and allowing children to gravitate to it or not. I think
Okay.
the moment that I'm specifically writing for a specific genre, and I'll be even more transparent, I'm not writing for black boys either. I'm not writing for black children. I'm writing for children. And so, because I think it's really important for all children, for black children to be able to see themselves as a character who wants to be financially successful. I also
Hmm.
think that it's important for other demographics to see other black kids, to see black kids trying to be financially
Absolutely.
successful, so that white kids and Latino kids and Asian kids don't always align black children with being a hip hop artist or being a basketball star or being a so and so. They can also be, a financial entrepreneur. And so it's
Absolutely.
really important for me to not put these kids, these characters in a box where I'm going to write differently for boys and I'm going to write differently for
Hmm.
girls and write differently for black and I'm going to write differently. Like, I think it's important for us. I think it's important for me. I'm not going to speak for everybody, that
Hmm.
my work speaks to the masses in a way that's comfortable and joyful
Hmm.
and open and not specific to any demographic for any specific reason.
Okay. I love that answer because that was going to be my next thing to add on was that a lot of people assume that when we say urban or we start talking about socioeconomic status that we're talking about black people. There's plenty of non-black people in the hood that need your
Sure,
help, that need these conversations.
sure.
And I reached out to one of my former principals already who is very much white. He's about as white as you can get, but he is very sensitive to our issues. And he's like, yes, I would love to have him come and speak or do the entrepreneurship book fair, I think, or not book fair, entrepreneurship workshop
Yeah,
or
yeah. That $Danny Entrepreneur Fair.
he's very interested in that. I was just wanted to know if you could talk to us a little bit about that. And is that something that you're still doing like in the next few
Oh,
months?
it's what I'm doing all year long. So my most recent
Okay.
book titled, and I just happen to have right here, titled
Oh, there
"Make
you
Your Own
go.
Money." Like we don't play here, baby. Like
New York hustler. He gonna hustle
that's
all day.
every day, 24/7, 365. Bam, right there in your face.
In your face.
It is not. We are not playing here. Um, Come on now.
It's not a
Uh,
drill.
so this book is the foundation for a program called the $Danny Entrepreneur Fair. This book is a
Okay.
blueprint to teach kids how they can right now start their own business. They don't have to wait, just planting the seed that they can start their own business. And not only start their own business for what they love doing. And it doesn't matter
Hmm.
if they love playing video games. How can we start a
Yeah.
business doing that? If they love playing basketball. How can we start a business doing that? If they love making bracelets like the ones I'm wearing, how can we make a business doing that? And so the entrepreneur fair, the premise is exactly like a science fair, just
Hmm.
substitute science for entrepreneurship. So
Okay.
kids will work together in groups of 2 to 4. They will start their own prototypical mock business, and and this book teaches them exactly how to do that, and then they get to demonstrate that business like via sort of a Shark Tank type of way where they have a 60-second elevator speech that they get to pitch to their colleagues, but also to community leaders, outside entrepreneurs, government
Okay.
officials that will come. uh, we started it about 3 years ago with 50 students in Western Massachusetts, which is where I lived at the time. This year, about 6,000 students in 6 different states will participate in the Entrepreneur Fair. And I
Wow.
100% believe, including we just signed about 400 students in South Florida. So I believe this
Okay.
Entrepreneur Fair will become a household name in 5 years because, the standard curriculums of teaching math and science and English and history, albeit are of value, they don't necessarily translate to the life skills that our kids need to have in their
Don't.
future. I
They
have
don't.
never needed to know who the 17th president of the United States was, ever.
I'm still
Uh,
waiting on the Pythagorean theorem. Nobody's asked me about the Pythagorean theorem or
Not at
any of
all,
that.
not at all. But the mindset developed to start your own business, to work with your business partners and able to cultivate a financial future for yourself, to learn how to engage with customers, to critically think, to be
Mm,
creative. These are all components of the entrepreneur fair that we need to carry on to our children, to everyone as they
to
grow
everybody,
older.
yeah.
And so, if we're planting the seed in our elementary school students, that you can use that same creativity to start a
Mhm,
business in other aspects of your life moving forward and do it in a fun and creative way, doing the thing you love to do, you have
mhm.
sparked a level of ingenuity that I think, in my
Absolutely.
opinion, is unprecedented in the world of education.
Absolutely. Is there a starter age or is everyone
We're
welcome?
looking for predominantly later elementary school years. So most for where I'm from on the East Coast, elementary schools are basically fourth and fifth graders, and
Okay.
that's the right age demographic for this book.
Hmm.
So that's really the target audience that we're going for.
I'm actually going to get a few copies when I get off this. I'm working with fifth graders. I'm
Yep.
working with fifth, sixth, and eighth right now. And they graphics, I love the graphics that you use, and anything about making money like immediately, they're all for it. And they
Yeah.
still get excited over the small things,
Yeah.
stickers and awards, whereas my eighth and
Yeah.
ninth graders are kind of like, show me the money. Like they want the cash. So they're like,
Right.
maybe can
Right.
mentor some of the younger ones.
Yeah.
So I love that. But I was also going to ask you, when you're speaking publicly in person to these kids, how do you keep them engaged? How do you keep them interested in what you're talking about?
Two primary ways. One is that I showcase other young entrepreneurs who have done it successfully. And
Okay.
so, for like example, Sydney Keys, who created a project called Books and Bros. Malik Ulmer, who started Be Sweet Lemonade, that is now carried, that sells hundreds of thousands of bottles through Whole Foods. She actually signed a $1.5 million contract with
So
Whole
Whole Foods?
Foods. Yeah, Michaela
Wow.
Ulmer. And Mo Bridges, who created Mo's Bows, which was also featured on Shark Tank.
Wow.
These are all successful young entrepreneurs who are in that same age demographic of fourth and fifth graders who started their own business, who are all, in some cases, multimillionaires today. So I
Wow.
showcase to students, not only can you do it, but here it is, haven't been done. And if they
It's
can
been
see other
done.
kids haven't done it, it will inspire them to believe that they can also. The
That's
second
so
way
important.
the second way that I engage students is through joy and humor. Like if you're going to promote financial literacy or entrepreneurship or just reading in general, you better build a connection with them. So
Mhm.
my presentations are, I like to say, if Tony Robbins, Dr. Seuss, and Kevin Hart had a baby, a love child, it would be me. So it's motivational, it's literal, and it's funny. Minus the profanity, of course.
All
But
right.
yeah, like so we have a good time because my objective is to make reading in alignment with the same forms of entertainment that they're accustomed to. So we introduce pop culture and music and dance. These are all part of the narrative of promoting the financial literacy and entrepreneurship. So they're
Wow.
having a good time. It is a party when we have these presentations that are in alignment with entrepreneurship, literacy, and finance and entrepreneurship.
Wow.
So yeah, so
And
it's a
it's
party. We're
boys
having a good
and
time.
girls.
Oh yeah, it's kids. Yeah, yeah.
Kids.
This is not black, white, boy, girl, tall, short, thick, thin. You know,
Got it. I get accused
everybody.
of not giving enough to the boys, but I said I'm going to make it my business to put more of an introspective light on them because I just feel like a lot of them just kind of fall through the cracks. I've had boys come up to me and say, "Well, Miss Phillips, when are we going to have a boys group? You do the girls, but when are you going to have something for us?" And they're saying, we get depressed too. We need men to talk to. And I said, well, I can't. Some things I feel comfortable talking to you about, but I said I have to bring people in, preferably men that look like you that can help you. So I definitely would love to put you on that roster of possibilities for 2026. Um, and now that you're telling me it's like a Shark Tank situation, that's really going to excite them because they have given me some really nice ideas. I had a student say, well, it seems like every time there's something for Black and Hispanic boys, it's always about sports and music. And he's like,
Sure.
I just want to dance. He's like, I
Yeah.
don't know how to play football. I
Yeah.
suck at basketball, but if I say that I want to dance, then people accuse me of being, LGBTQ, which he says he's not. So
Yeah.
definitely need your help.
If I may interject, and this is really
Please.
just me thinking out loud, is that I think it's important for boys and girls to have their own separate things, but I also it's important for boys and girls to work in conjunction with one another. I think what
Yeah.
we're seeing a lot today. I mean, think about when you and I were growing up. there was no swiping right to meet somebody. You actually had to walk up to somebody and have an
Yep.
actual conversation. We've gotten away from a lot of that. So there's the social interaction between COVID, between social media. It has distanced us tremendously. And so think of the opportunity that starting your own business with a boy and a girl together do. Like it really brings a level of connection and working with boys and girls so that they're
Hmm.
comfortable going forward and like having interactions about, just getting to know each other a little bit better. So, albeit I think it's important for boys to have their own thing and girls to have their own thing. What I love about this entrepreneurship fair is that it transcends any of that. This is just, are you like-minded? If you're
Okay.
like-minded, it doesn't matter if you're white. It doesn't matter if you're a girl. It doesn't matter if you're a boy. It just matters that we're like-minded and we can work together for a common goal and common cause. And I think that the secret sauce to that is that it unites us just in that commonality. It doesn't care about what color you are. It
That's
doesn't
right.
care about what gender you are. And so it gives a tremendous amount of teamwork and empathy in working with a young black girl can work with a young Jewish boy or a Latino
Absolutely.
or an Asian. And we can break these barriers and stigmas from
Hmm.
of differentiating each other from one another and allow us to work in unity and harmony together. And I think that
I
that's really
love that.
important.
We just had this conversation. We're reading a book about the Taliban, and
Mm.
they were just kind of appalled at some of the
So a
ways
little
women
light
have been
reading,
treated.
I suppose, a little light
A
reading
little
for
light
everyone.
reading. The name of the book is The Breadwinner, and it's showing
Okay.
how this young girl has to literally transform herself into a boy in order to provide for her family after her dad is kidnapped. And they're like, wait a minute, they didn't have any food. I'm like, no, they didn't have any food. She had to do what she had to do to, help her family. So they're now seeing other ethnicities and nationalities and religions, and they're open to it because they can relate. They're thinking like,
Mhm.
wow, I know I'm here in DC or in Baltimore, but my family doesn't have any food either. And so they're wondering like, well, how can I use this and make a text to self connection and do something better? So now they're wanting to fundraise. They're wanting to ship stuff off to other countries.
That's cool.
My dad is in Nigeria. My dad is Nigerian. And I'm like, you ain't got to go that far. As that you can just flip the script and you can see tons of people that are in her same situation. But for your program, would it be a situation where the school or the organization has to fund the cost for the fair, or is it just I show up and I can participate?
So it depends on the school. There are some schools that have the resources to be able to sponsor the program in its entirety. But what we like to do is because this, albeit is inside generally a school, although we've done it in organizations like the YMCA and Boys and Girls Club. It's important to have the community involved. We want there to be a connection
Mhm.
between the community and the school. So what we usually do is that we have a majority and a minority sponsor. So we'll get, let's say, for example, like a Chase Bank or Wells Fargo Bank or a Citibank, usually a financial industry, and they become the major sponsor because in part these financial institutions are allocate funds to give back to their community, and this is
They
one of the
do.
things that they
Hmm.
can do. So it's
Hmm.
in their best interest to have these connections. So they'll be the majority sponsor and they'll pay for the overall structure of the program. Then we'll get a minority sponsor. Maybe that's an entrepreneur in the area or a small business, and they'll be the minority sponsor and they'll sponsor the books that just that go with the program. And then the school will pay for the materials for the trifolds and the construction
Hmm.
paper. And so everyone has skin in the game. The school is paying for the materials, the minority sponsor is paying for the books, the majority sponsor is paying for the overall program. And that way, these communities also come together to witness this
Hmm.
fair. And and that in itself makes it, not just a school project, but it makes it a community project. And I don't know how well you can see this, but this was a fair from earlier this year. I'm going to show from my phone. Let's see.
Okay, let me
So
see.
this is
Oh
so this
wow.
is the fair. So like we're not playing here. So
Wow.
these kids, you can see there's adults, there's community leaders, there's family members, there's teachers,
Wow.
and so yeah,
That
it's
is
we are
dope.
not playing around. This is
It's
500 students all together in Western Massachusetts, and again they're showcasing their ideas for a business. In these cases, these kids love walking, they love pets, so they created a dog walking company.
Okay.
These kids play musical instruments, so they created a tutoring company to teach other kids how to play
Wow.
musical instruments. And then you've got these kids who came up with a creative. They love sports cars, so they created a sports car wash
Oh my
to
God,
specific. Yeah, exactly. So like
this
these
is
kids,
dope.
I'm trying to tell you, it's a reason why we've scaled from 50 students to 6,000 students in just 3 years. Because
Oh,
these kids are using their own ingenuity, their own passions to be able to create their own business, doing what they love. And it's
that's
it's
right.
it's it's such a game changer. And we emphasize we don't want the teachers' input, we don't want the parents' input. This is your business. This is your
That's right.
project. Here is the tool to teach you how to do it. We're going to provide you with the resources to make it
Okay.
happen. The rest is on you to bring to life. And
So do they
it's
read the book as they go, or should they read the book first and
they read the book
then?
first as a class or as a school. They read the
Okay.
book together, and then the school will provide them with the materials. They partner up with their colleagues, and they cultivate their business. And we provide them with the tools and the methodology to be able to make that happen. The teachers
Okay.
oversee it and make sure that things are, going right and answer any questions that they may have. But for the most part, this is all them.
This is awesome. And we have to definitely oversee and make sure they're not chat GPT and everything to death. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like I
absolutely.
want their words, their
There you
writing,
go.
and that's what I'm working on. I teach
Yeah,
English.
yeah.
Chat GPT is really a thorn in my side right now for a couple of reasons. It's given a lot of false information.
Mm,
I don't mind a child Googling or researching something quick with chat GPT, but it's also making them feel like they can't think for themselves.
yeah.
And I'm like, it's nothing wrong with going to the library, go old school, get a book, research it, research it on your own. We can help you navigate the book, but I don't want them relying totally on chat GPT. And so sometimes especially with the fifth grade, I'll get an essay back and I'm looking at all these words. It's like, oh, yeah, the protagonists, their conflicts were so pervasive throughout the novel. I'm like, so and
Like
so,
the
what's
lawyer.
pervasive mean? You're like, I
That's
don't
good.
know. I'm like,
Right,
this all throughout your paper. What you mean? Oh,
right.
listen, I can't. With the fair, is it the elementary competing with the upper grades, the high school, and the upper middle school?
Well, that's the great thing about this program. This is not a competition. There's no winner.
Okay,
This is the compensation is praise. Who's to say out of those 500 students whose idea is better? Like
got
that's
it.
not the goal here. The goal is to have a winner, because if you have 500 students participating in this particular program and the one gets a bronze, a gold, and a silver, well then there's 490 other seven kids who feel like maybe that their project isn't relevant. And that's not the objective of this project. The objective is to critically think, to be creative, to have fun, to work
Thank you.
together. And there's no such thing as a winner or a loser. All of them win, and the compensation for each and every one of them is simply praise. None of them there's no award given, there's
Uh,
no, 1, 2, 3 podium, there's no gold medal, there's no trophy,
okay,
because that's not the
okay,
objective here. The
got
objective is
it.
for these kids to think for themselves, to be creative, and to have fun. And for that, there's no winner or loser. And no, there's no competition with other schools to see whose ideas are better. I think once you do that, and then it becomes discouraging, because some kids will think that this idea, and some of these kids like create ideas out of thin air. One young kid who was actually on the spectrum created a a um a fishing rod that he made from sticks that he got outside, and he provides you with like the little hooks that you put into the stick and the string. So he created and this really cute device, almost like a yo-yo, to be
Okay.
able to reel it in. But he thought of that himself, and
Wow.
because he loves to go fishing with his dad, but rods are really expensive, so he
Uh,
provides you with the template for you to create your own fishing rod. It was genius, and this was a kid who was on the spectrum and had difficulty working with others, so he wanted to do this by himself. But as he said, the father came to me in tears and said, this is the most energetic we've ever seen our child, because he was
yeah.
doing something that he loved to do.
That
So
he loved.
yeah.
That's awesome. And I think that a lot of kids not just boys, but I think there are a lot of girls too who are being misdiagnosed with certain not illnesses, disorders, and it's really
Sure.
just boredom.
Yeah.
It's really just boredom. A lot of kids are actually gifted, and I do remember from my studies, you have to teach gifted learners just like you would someone that has special needs as
Mm.
learners, because they get bored very easily, and when they're bored, sometimes they do act out. I think we got to take a commercial. Hold on. I think he wants us to take a commercial. Do you often feel like the issues that are featured on network TV don't interest you, don't affect you? Do you feel like the arts and cultural events that are featured don't really interest you? Do you generally feel like your voice goes unheard? If you answered yes to any of those questions, Millennium News 24 is here to help you. I'm Shirley Phillips, and I'm the host of The Comment Section, a new show on Millennium News 24, airing on Sundays, and we are airing on all streaming media. Millennium News TV 24.com, Millennium News 24.com, Apple TV, Roku TV, Fire TV, Horizon Satellite, and drum roll please, all smart TVs. So there's no excuse for you not to catch up with us. We hope to see you on Sundays on Millennium News 24. Okay, thank you. I'm so sorry. I'm talking about I think I'm on the spectrum myself. I've been working with them for so long. I think I have adopted some of the traits. But I was gonna say a lot of times it's just boredom. And I know as I get older, I don't have a lot of patience or attention span for things that just don't interest me. If it's something I'm passionate about, I can write, speak, talk about it. And I see the same traits in some of my students, and everybody just cannot be autistic and ADHD. I just don't believe that. I refuse to believe. I just refuse to believe that.
I'm with you.
Have you gotten any criticism at all? I know right now we've heard all the positive, but have you gotten any criticism or any naysayers with what you're doing?
Two things to that. One, absolutely not. Two, if I did, I wouldn't care.
I wouldn't
So
care.
I'm not sure why somebody's opinion or perspective about what it is that I'm doing, especially in a negative light, would give any credence to what I'm doing. I'm happy to take constructive criticism about making my projects, programs, books, missions better. Sure, 100%. But I mean, we're talking about empowering young people to critically think. I mean, if someone has a negative opinion about that, I would. Uh, if I want from the Bronx, I won't say what I want to say,
I know
but
what you want to say, but we ain't gonna say.
yeah, but no, I mean, sure, there are people who may give negative reviews about my books or can give constructive feedback about them, and that's fine. I mean, when you are a creative and you put your work out there, it is for interpretation, and some people will take it and not find it of value,
Mm-hmm.
and that's okay. I mean, it's my job is not to please everybody. My
That's
job
right.
is to take my work and bring it to the masses and let the masses do whatever it wants to do with it. And if that's
That's right.
exalted, great. And if it's thrown into trash, great. It's not for me to judge. But no, I haven't. Like I said, we've grown from 50 students to 6,000 in 3 years. So
Oh, that is
I think the
phenomenal.
success speaks for itself. And if anybody has anything negative to it, feel free to shoot me an email about it or give me a call. But but no,
You
there's a
said, come
trash
see,
button.
come
There's a
see
trash
me.
button on email for a reason, you know?
That is phenomenal. And I always tell the kids because they get so defeated. They're getting a little bit better. They're getting so defeated when someone doesn't agree with them or someone has something negative to say when we do like their little presentations. They just did a presentation about community service projects. And I said, well, if you don't have any haters, if you don't have anybody saying anything negative, then you're not really doing anything. You don't have any critics. Do you even want the prize? If everybody's just agreeing and, as a yes person, and then they're like, yeah. So then we say, well, if someone's talking about you, I said, I don't talk about things I don't like or things that I'm not interested in. So I said, if they're talking about you, they must be a fan, right? They're like, yeah, you're right, Miss Phillips. they must be a fan. So I'm trying to present it to them differently. But talk to me a little bit about how you keep them passionate about what they're doing when it's not going the way that they planned for it to go.
Sure. I mean, it's we keep thinking that everything has to be successful. Every time I get up to bat, I have to hit a home run. Every time
Mm,
the second I get on the bike, I've got to balance it and ride out. That's not how life works. Failure is part of the process. We have to stop thinking that failure is bad. Failure is our most and greatest primary teacher to help build us into whatever it is that we decide to become and cultivate. So let us stop thinking failing is like what you just, it just means that you're trying. There are millions of people who won't fail because they won't try.
they won't
And
try. Mhm.
yeah, absolutely. So like telling kids, if you fail, that's awesome. Like exalt the failure. Like let them know how you learn. Now let's try to fail better. How do we fail? Like you made six mistakes on you failed, you got six wrong on this test. Okay, let's figure out how we can get three wrong. Then we can figure out how we get one wrong. And then
It's progress.
that's progress. That's how you build muscle is you have to tear it down.
Mhm.
You have to tear the muscle down to build it up. And so it's like telling kids that you are a muscle, you're going to get broken, you're going to lose, you're
Mhm.
going to fail. And that's part of how you build up to get stronger. So like
I love
let
that.
us look at failure as an ally and not an adversary. Like that's how this works.
Uh,
If Superman didn't have a nemesis, he would just be flying around eating ice cream all day. You know,
you know what? I
but
love
but
that. I mean,
but he has villains and adversaries for a reason, and it helps make him stronger. It builds character.
it
It helps
does.
us become the best versions of ourselves. So when
It
you
does.
fail, clap. When they clap, say that's
Good
awesome.
job.
You did a
I
great
love
job.
that. I love that. And
And
it's
that's
so
the
funny because I'm
enthusiasm we have
finding
to have with these kids.
you have to. But I feel
100.
like hearing it from you or someone that looks like you, I feel like the boys receive it better. It's almost like they're tired of hearing a bunch of women, particularly a bunch of black and brown women, yelling at them, telling them what to do. It's like, oh, here we go, another. When I
Yeah,
invite
I hear you.
male, huh? Would
I
you?
hear you. I get it.
When I invite male speakers, teachers, whoever, it doesn't matter if they're working at a school or down at the Circle K. They get so excited to just see a man and to
Yeah.
hear someone like finally someone can listen to me and identify with me. Do you feel that that has helped you get entrance into places that you may not have gotten that same
Uh,
receptivity
s-
to?
so the answer is yes. I think not only being male, but a male from the hood, a male who was raised by a teenage mom, a male who was raised with his father being incarcerated, a male who was raised
Oh
on
wow.
welfare. Like
Love that.
that's what you're looking at right now. So I am the byproduct of a lot of the things that ail our country, and yet still here I am. So yes, it does make a difference substantially. But I will say that that resilience also as a child, again, made me who I am today. I did not go to college. A lot of people are shocked when they find out I didn't go to college.
I'm
Yet,
definitely shocked.
4 years
I
ago,
wouldn't know.
I received an honorary doctorate for my work. So you can call me Dr. Jackson if you want
Okay,
to.
Dr. Jackson, I see
You
you.
know, but
I
it
love that.
shows that there's more than one way to be able to progress in life. I have a doctorate degree that I earned from doing the work that I decided was of
Mm,
value and wouldn't allow 147 strangers to tell me that I couldn't do it.
that's
So
right. That's
so
right.
having those failures of rejection, having those
Mm,
failures of a downtrodden, I wouldn't even say a downtrodden childhood because I couldn't have had a better childhood, in part because of the resilience, in part because of the obstacles. I wouldn't trade my childhood with the richest kid in Beverly Hills, not for a second. I
wait,
grew
are
up
you
in
an
the
only
era.
child?
No, I had siblings,
Oh,
but I grew up in the era of hip hop. So
yeah.
think of I actually I got to witness hip hop conceived, born, and nurtured into the entity that it is today.
Yeah.
And to see a group of kids literally, and I was one of them, who were voiceless at one point. who were powerless at one point, and then created a genre so powerful that every commercial have elements of hip hop. Every clothing designer has an element of hip hop. Politics now is focused on hip hop. It is now it is as mainstream as any other, facet of life in this country, and it was all cultivated by a bunch of black and brown kids in the Bronx in the 70s who
I'm
had no
telling
voice in their
you.
power. So when
I'm
you
telling
hear of
you.
failure and these kids are talking about failure, let's look at the elements of hip hop. Let's look at the elements of authors like Allan Jackson who figured out how to create their own pathway, even though doors were closed for him. Like this is how
Mhm.
this level of resilience is primary. It's the seasoning that we have to put of our lives to like that's what I'm saying, yo. Like it's real. Listen, show me a dude that has never, or a lady that's had no obstacles in life, and they will not be a warrior.
No, not at all.
You can't. The way to become a warrior, to become strong, to fight and resilient, is to have adversity. And whether you're a boy or a girl or black or brown,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter. But for us
That's
particularly, it
it.
matters because all we know is adversity. That's all we
That's
know in
it.
this country.
Who you talk?
This
I'm from Detroit. Hello,
That's
Detroit.
what's
I'm like,
up.
I'm watching all this BMF stuff. I'm like, that was
Yeah.
my reality.
But still we rise. But
Still
still
we
we laugh, and still we are of joy, and still we are of power, and still we are of energy, and we are the foundation for everything that excels in this planet, not even in
That's
this country.
it.
Everything, every clothes you wear, every song you listen to, every television show, it
Listen,
is drenched in our culture and in our society,
this
no
is
matter
a
how
whole
much they try to
sermon.
steal it from us.
This is a sermon. And when I tell people this, I am an only child. So I didn't really realize how poor we were till like as I started getting old. I think it was high school. So I went to a pretty prominent high school where a lot of the kids were rich
Mm.
and did have doctors and lawyers. I didn't. I came from a single mom. My dad was deported when I was 8 years old.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
But yeah, so and I was very close to my dad and my mom, but
oh.
I saw both sides of it. But I also saw the drug game. I saw
Mm.
the drug dealers who were very smart. They were not all what people think. These were like straight A students.
Yeah,
They're willing and dealing. I like to eat. So they would often ask to see the report card, and they knew who was about that life and who wasn't. So
mm,
if they saw your report card and you're doing well, they would give you money or ice cream, and and then
mm.
my mom would be like, "Get your little ass, excuse my friend, get in this house before they have you turn it
Of
trick level.
course.
Come on, like get in the house. What are you doing?" But they were heroes to me,
I get it.
But then
Yeah,
on the flip, as I'm sure you can identify, I saw them blow people's heads off. I saw
yeah,
that. That's
sure.
trauma, and so to
Right.
see you, congratulations, because you are Black history. You are. I'm assuming you identify as Black. You
Yes,
never
ma'am.
know.
100%. I will not define myself any other way. I'm a black kid from the Bronx, born and
I
raised.
love it. I
I don't
love
like the
that.
term African American. I think it's the stupidest term I've ever heard in my
It
life.
is a dumb term. I
It's a
can't
dumb term.
stand it.
I'm a black
It
man.
is a dumb term. I love it. You either Black or you're not. How important is it, do you think? And I think I presented this to you to think about on a scale from 1 to 10 for a Black boy to see themselves in books. How important on a scale from 1 to 10, with 10 being most important, do you think it is for them to see that in
It's
order to be
100. It's not a
successful?
10, it's 100. It
So,
is it is it is paramount. I mean, we can't become what we can't see. So, in any facet of life. So it's hard. I mean, there's a reason why literacy and reading is as poor in this country as it is.
yeah.
And you know what? I'm gonna blame black authors too for a minute.
Hmm. Okay.
Um, the publishing company has done an awful job, and maybe it's intentional, in promoting literacy to diverse and minority groups. Um, whether it's not marketable or whatever BS excuse that they give. But children, all children need to see themselves depicted in literature because there's no way for them to gravitate to it. I'm sorry, young black kids are not going to gravitate to Nancy Drew and the Hardy
Mhm.
Boys and Archie and
Mhm.
whatever. It's just they're not
Mhm.
speaking our language. So it is important for kids to be able to see a Danny Dollar. First thing I always hear from a young boy when they see this, that he looks like me. It's
He
the
looks like
it's
me.
he looks like me. And when I
Oh,
hear that, that bonded connection is already made there. But then here's the other side of that coin of kids needing to see themselves depicted in literature, boys and girls, but particularly boys because they've been neglected much more than girls have been. Black authors have to take accountability and not make every story about us overcoming things. Like
Yeah, praise God.
it can't be about underground railroads. It can't be about slavery all the time. It can't. I understand the historical value and I understand it, but there is no shortage of books showing kids in their blackness being suppressed because of it and overcoming it. When you think about blackness, the primary thing I think of is joy. It is that
Yeah,
way, and that is the joy that we have to project. It can't be my black plight, my
it,
black skin,
it
my black
can't
hair,
be.
my black trouble. It can't be that all the time. We have to figure out ways to express our black brilliance, our black joy, our black happiness, the things that make us us. Go to a white party and go to a black party and tell me the difference between the two. Go to
Yeah,
a black wedding and go to
I'm
a
telling
white
you,
wedding and tell me the difference between the two.
there's
Go
joy
to a
there.
black barbecue and go to a
Mhm.
white barbecue and tell me the difference between the two.
That's
And
right.
right now, take that translation and put it in our literature. Put it
Yeah.
into our music, put it into our movies and our television, and let our children see the essence of what being black is. It is honor, it
Mhm.
is strength, it is integrity, it is fun, it is joy, it is
Hello.
happiness, it's who we are.
It
It's
is.
who we are. It's who we've been
It
always
is.
been. It can't
Yes.
always be about us being suppressed and figure out how to overcome that suppression. Let it be about what we truly are, and that is a strong, powerful, joyful people.
Amen. Let the church say amen. That is
Amen.
so poignant. Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry, I hope you listening. But not to, no shade to Tyler. He's done a lot for our community, but there's a lot that he's also done to hinder our culture as well, which
I
is
have
another
never
show.
watched, other than Diary of a Mad Black Woman, I have never seen a Tyler Perry production, and I never will. With that being said, I am a big Tyler Perry fan. It's the man. I
It's
appreciate
a man,
what he's done
absolutely.
as an
Mhm.
entity, as an icon. Stand up, golf clap, big clap, exalt to the rafters.
Yeah,
But the products he puts out doesn't speak to me personally. But the man himself, I can't say enough about.
exactly. And I haven't been to Tyler Perry Studios, but I do know friends that live down there and have went, and they said it is phenomenal.
Of
I
course
have
it
another
is.
couple friends that make films as well, and they have their own issues with some of his productions. But with that being said, I do use him often to let people know that, he can, grandma can raise you, auntie can raise you. It doesn't matter. You can be whoever you want. If you don't have parents or don't know who your parents are, because they feel a way about that sometimes as well,
Mm.
too. Like nobody's going to want to hear my story, or I don't know how to tell that story because I didn't have a mom. It doesn't matter. I remember the Huxtables. They can say what they want to say about Bill Cosby, but I tuned in every Thursday, and that was my relief from the
And
hood.
so
I
did most
needed
of
to.
America, black, white, or indifferent.
They
Yeah,
were
he was America's
hilarious.
dad. He was not black America's dad. He was America's dad.
He was America's dad.
Yep.
And I don't think we give him enough, just in general, enough credit for what they did with that.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I'm a big backstory person. I was listening to Cree Summer talk about a different world. She said people thought that we left a
Mm.
different world and everything was. She said people were not calling us. She's like, I could barely buy bread. She was dating Kadeem Johnson, and she said she watched I was about to call this child Whitley Gilbert. What is her name?
Kadeem
Jasmine Guy.
Harrison. Kadeem
Kadeem
Harrison.
Harrison, yes. They were dating.
Hmm.
And she said they both were struggling for a while. She's like, Jasmine Guy,
Hmm.
she felt was getting roles because she fit that fair skin,
Sure.
narrative. But then after a while, her stuff started to dry up. And
Right.
I'm like, I know. I said, that's why you have to have something else. And I'm wondering if you are in agreement with me that maybe we should start teaching kids earlier to focus on entrepreneurial skills, trades, things that they can get money from, regardless to whether or not they make that decision to go to college or not. Do you think we should put more focus on that earlier?
I think we have to. I think proof is that, uh, especially in the age of AI, like you said, where now we have computers thinking for us, um,
Yeah.
we have to do the things that build. organic life skills, from communication and social engagement
Yeah.
to creativity to you know, perseverance and resilience. These are not things that you can sit by your keyboard and generate. Like, these are things you've got to get out into the real world,
Mm-hmm.
engage with people, build
Yep.
your own thing, engage, like, so yes, 100%. But on top of that, we also need to teach things like empathy and kindness and
Mm.
how to be a better listener, how to be a better communicator, how to communicate with the opposite sex, how to be, yeah, how to have etiquette, how to have self-respect, how to honor your parents, how to, you know you know
I'm laughing because these are the things that I see we're having the most trouble with right
and
now.
that's my point. Every form of communication is now via text. Like, people don't call people anymore. I literally have friends who will text me to see if they can call me. Like, what are you talking about? Why would you text me, hey, can you talk? It's a phone. The primary use of the phone is supposed to be to talk to people.
To talk.
We don't even do that now. Now you have to text to talk to me. Like, just talk to me. And it's only going to get worse, where our communication is now, it's a DM. Now it's a text. Now it's a so and so. And before, it was just knocking on somebody's door. They open the door,
No.
there they are. We sit there, we communicate. I want to ask a girl out. I walk across the hall. I walk across the dance floor. I introduce myself and ask, would you like to dance? Now it's, I swipe right and I meet you at the local coffee shop and
Wow.
take it from there. And, like, I don't know. So yes, the answer to that is any type of skill that we can implement into our kids that align us with actually engaging with one another in an organic, personable way needs to be taught, whether it's entrepreneurship or life skills like empathy and kindness and respect.
Hmm.
Those are things that we need to have done from the moment that they can crawl.
Do you think that we may have went wrong when we were teaching our girls to be so independent and not be relying on their husbands and not worry about a man? Because I feel like, well, I know it's not, I feel like I know that biologically testosterone works very different than estrogen. Testosterone wants to do and fix and problem solve and help. And some of the boys have come to me and they're saying, no, Miss Phillips, they don't want us holding the door for them. They don't want us doing those things. They're pushing us, knocking us down. And they're like, how far are we supposed to let this go? Because, I'm not going to keep letting her punch me in my face because my mama told me not to hit girls, but she's acting like a boy. And so their question is, well, why can't we treat them like boys if that's how they're acting? I said, well, that's a good question. And I said, I'm trying to do my best to help you guys with letting them be a little softer. But I said, we have to also ask, how did they get that way? What's making them think that they have to do traditionally what they should have learned, or saw their fathers do? Why do you think that they're acting that way? And they never have answers for me. So do you feel like we should be still teaching traditional gender roles, or is that go bye-bye out the window?
I don't believe in gender roles. I
Okay.
don't believe that a man should have to fix things and that a woman should have to clean things. I think that I think that we should be in alignment to live our most authentic self. And it doesn't matter whether you're male or female, whether you're black or white. I think,
Mm-hmm.
personally, I think if I'm the man and I love to cook and she's the woman and she loves to tinker, I'm not going to let gender norms, social
That's
norms
right.
dictate the quality of my life. And
That's right.
so, if a young lady wants to be a fighter and a young boy wants to sew, who am I to stand in that way? I would love for that male kid that loves to sew to be the greatest fashion designer that ever lived. And I would love to see that young lady perhaps become the greatest MMA fighter or
Clarissa
trainer
Shield.
or whatever. Like, like let's move out of our kids' way and let them be whatever it is that they decide to be. And you know what? If it doesn't align with who you are, then you don't do that. Like,
Yeah.
but let man, I think we are so accustomed. Our jobs as parents, in my opinion, is to guide our children in what we believe is the best way for them to live their most authentic life, and then let them go
Mhm.
and do it. Will they make mistakes? Absolutely, just
Absolutely,
like you
yeah.
did. Will they fall down and 100% just like you did? But let them do it on their own terms. Let them do it
Hmm.
without the minutia of cultural and systemic and traditional norms dictating how they should live their quality of life. And if they're gay, then let them be gay. And if they're masculine or feminine, let people be people. I mean, I don't know. That's just me. But but I also feel like, to answer your other questions, that a lot of women had to become independent out of necessity.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I grew up with a single mom. My father was incarcerated for the majority of my
Mm.
childhood. She had to work three jobs. She had to raise her boys like men. She had to, out of not because she wanted to, because she had to. So a lot of our black women are out there having to be strong, having to be masculine, having to be tough because they
Mhm.
ain't nobody behind them doing that work.
They have to.
They
They
have
have
to.
to.
It's out of necessity. It's not
Yeah.
out of, so listen, let people do their own path. Like, and their path is not your path.
It's
Like I
not your
said,
path.
it's not your path.
And like you said, that empathy, this is the literally the final frontier of apathy. These kids don't give a you know what about, if
I
it's
know.
not about them and something you're giving them or doing for them, they don't care. And I've shown they care when I connect it to why they are where they are currently. But aside from that, they don't care. And they also have a very warped sense of like history and time. I was telling them about how my mom grew up in Jim Crow South, and my mother died at 47. I'm an only
Oh,
child. My
no.
mom died at 47. She had two
Wow.
heart attacks, two strokes. Yeah, you wouldn't think it by looking at her, but she used to tell me about how she grew up and how the white kids would save their urine and their feces to throw at the school bus. And so they're like, so was your mom a slave, or why would they want? I said, if she was born in 1958, how would she be a slave? And they're like, well, you said that the white people were mean to her. So what? I have to stop my whole lesson because I can't continue to teach if you have no concept of time and when and what. And this is why I know my days as a teacher are limited, because I can't operate like this. I need someone like you, programs like yours, mine, platforms like Millennium that will allow us to give these kids what they need, because it's just not working the ways that you and I may have been taught. So again, we are running out of time. He's telling me I have 2 minutes. Um, Thank you so much. I will be reaching out because I need copies of that book ASAP. I already got some ideas that some kids have given me for a business that I cannot share on here because people steal stuff. But quickly, where can they reach you if they would like to hire you or if they would like to
Mhm.
purchase your items quickly?
So my website is tyallanjackson.com. That's TYALLAN Jackson.com. You can use that same title to find me on TikTok and Instagram and
Mhm.
uh, everything but X. Uh,
I mean,
where
I'm not on
others,
there either, so don't feel bad.
yeah, you know what I'm saying. But yeah, I'm not hard to find. Go just search Ty Allen Jackson or Rita, or else and I'll pop up.
Love it. Thank you so much. And I hope you're feeling better because I know you were a little bit under
I,
the
I
weather.
I am. Thank you. This is the best so far, which is why I'm excited to have done this interview. It's my first flex and getting better. So
Flex.
I
Awesome.
appreciate that. Yeah, yeah,
All
yeah.
right. You enjoy the rest of your weekend. I will definitely tag you and post all of those sites. And
Thank you for having
God
me.
bless.
Okay.
All right. Bye, guys. See you next week.